Ever wondered if you could melt solid rock with something you can't even see? Today, we're diving into a concept that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, using the invisible force of magnetism to turn stone into lava. So, how on earth is that even possible? Well, let's get into it.
I mean, it seems like a pretty simple question, right? We use magnetic fields in induction furnaces to turn solid steel into a molten pool in minutes. It's incredible to watch. So why is it that when you try the exact same thing with a chunk of granite, basically nothing happens? What's the missing piece of the puzzle here? And is there a clever way to hack the physics?
Okay, so the key to all of this is understanding how induction actually works. You start with an alternating current running through a copper coil. That creates this powerful, rapidly changing magnetic field. Now, when you stick something conductive, like a piece of metal, inside that field, it induces these little electrical whirlpools inside it. They're called eddy currents. And here's the magic. It's the metal's own resistance to those currents that generates insane amounts of heat, literally melting it from the inside out. And that right there brings us to our fundamental problem. Rock is mostly made of silicate minerals, which means it's a fantastic electrical insulator. So those powerful magnetic fields, they just pass right through it, almost like it's not even there. And if you have no conductivity, you get no eddy currents. No eddy currents means zero heat. Game over. So for decades, industry has had to get creative. So if you can't heat the rock directly, what do? Well, for a long time now, industry has used this really clever workaround. Instead of trying to heat the rock itself, they heat it by proxy. They use something called a susceptor. It's basically just a conductive container, usually made out of graphite. The best way to think about it is like a special pot for an induction stove at home. You know how the magnetic field heats the pot, not the food? Well, it's the exact same principle. The magnet heats the pot, and the pot cooks what's inside. So the process is pretty straightforward. You just put the rock inside this graphite crucible, and the induction coils heat that crucible until it's glowing red hot. That intense heat then transfers over to the rock and melts it down into slag. It works, for sure, but it's a brute force approach. You need a massive furnace. Which leads to a really interesting question. What if, instead of melting the whole rock, we could use magnets to attack it from the inside? And this brings us to a completely radical new idea. What if the goal wasn't to melt the entire rock at all? What if the goal was just to use magnets to make it fundamentally weaker and way easier to break? This really highlights the huge shift in thinking. On one side, you've got the old method. Heat a giant crucible in a massive furnace to melt the entire rock mass. On the other side, the new concept. Use magnets to directly heat the tiny metal particles already inside the rock, weakening it just locally, right where a cutting tool is about to hit. It's the difference between a sledgehammer and a surgical scalpel. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wait a second, you just told me rock is an insulator. And you're right. The secret to this whole idea lies in a hidden weakness, the tiny amounts of metal hiding within the stone itself. Let's take a look at what granite is actually made of. See that huge slice? About 75% of the whole thing? That's silica. That's our insulator. But look at this other little chunk, the 3 to 6%. That's a cocktail of iron, aluminum, and other metals. It doesn't seem like much, but that small percentage, that is the hidden key to this entire concept. Now, these different metals respond to magnets in different ways. You've got your ferromagnetic stuff, like iron, that sticks to a magnet hard. Then you've got paramagnetic and diamagnetic stuff that's only weakly attracted or even repelled. But here's the crucial point. It doesn't matter if they'll stick to your fridge magnet. All that matters is that almost all of them react when you hit them with a rapidly changing magnetic field. And that reaction is all thanks to a piece of physics called Lenz's law. The best way to think of it is like inertia for magnets. When that changing magnetic field sweeps over those little metal particles, it forces them to create their own tiny magnetic fields to push back, to oppose the change. It's that constant microscopic fight, that resistance, that generates the heat. So we can heat up the little metal bits inside the rock. Big deal, right? How does that actually make the rock weaker? Well, this is where we get to the beautiful core of this idea, the shattering glass effect. This quote from the source material just lays it out perfectly. By rapidly and unevenly heating just the metal components, you create tons of stress fractures in the material that's holding everything together, the silica. And here's why that works. Silica, the stuff that makes up most of the rock, is a terrible conductor of heat. It's like a Pyrex glass dish. So when you flash heat these tiny metal specks embedded inside it, the cold silica all around them can't handle that sudden localized expansion. It can't stretch or expand evenly. So instead, it cracks.
So you can see how this all builds into a brilliant chain reaction. You've got rotating magnets on a cutting tool, creating that changing field. The metal particles inside the rock heat up almost instantly. The silica around them experiences thermal shock, microfractures spread out like a spider web, and all of a sudden, that incredibly hard rock becomes brittle and much, much easier for a cutting edge to slice through.
So this is obviously way more than just a fascinating physics experiment. This is a concept that could be engineered into real-world tools with some absolutely staggering implications. Just try to picture it, a high-speed drill bit or a cutting wheel. But now, embedded right into the head are these super powerful neodymium magnets. As the tool spins at thousands of RPM, those magnets create an intense alternating magnetic field that pre-weakens the rock just milliseconds before the physical blade even makes contact. The potential here is just mind-boggling. You've got startups like EarthGrid developing this kind of tunneling technology, and they claim it could make boring through bedrock up to 98% cheaper. Stop and think about that. 98%. What becomes possible when the cost of tunneling for subways, for utilities, for geothermal energy just plummets? And that leaves us with this one final provocative thought. For millennia, humanity has broken rock with brute force and friction, smashing it and grinding it. But what if a completely frictionless magnetic field acting on a microscopic level could become the new chisel? It's a concept that could fundamentally change how we mine, how we build, and how we carve our world.